What is good, Ninja? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to the PE news video that I have here for you guys in my village. We got a lot of great information for you, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So Japan's best-selling games of March 2017 has been revealed, but the interesting thing about these numbers from Famitsu is not only do they have physical, but they also have digital sales for the total number of sales in March 2017. And they do have a top 30 list, but I'll be going over the top 10, and you'll be able to see the digital sales in what I post right here. So at number 10 on the Nintendo Switch, we have Super Bomberman R with 66,971 units. At number 9 on the PS4, we have Senran Kagura Beach Splash with 70,123 units. At number 8 on PS4, we have Nier Automata with 83,139 units. At number 7 on the Wii U, we have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild with 87,231 units. At number 6 on PS4, we have Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 plus 2.5 Remix with 97,387 units. At number 5, we have on the Nintendo Switch, 144,607 units. At number 4 on the PS4, Ghost Recon Wildlands at 169,817 units. At number 3, PS4, Horizon Zero Dawn with 215,235 units. Number 2 on the Nintendo Switch, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, 341,121 units, 341,121 units, and at number 1 on the Nintendo 3DS, Monster Hunter Double Cross with 1,353,150 units, and a lot digital as far as digital sales for that one, 82,818 units, pretty much the highest total out of any of these games here. But also The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild had a pretty good digital total as well with 33,500 units, in addition to Horizon Zero Dawn having 47,479 units. So what do you guys think about these sales here and the digital sales as well? Obviously, the digital sales are nowhere near as high as the physical. People still like their physical games in Japan. I think the digital penetration isn't quite as high as in other areas, but it's still getting up there. I don't think these numbers, 5 or 10 years ago would have been anywhere near as high when it comes to physical versus digital. So I do think that people are slowly coming along. I also think that with just the hybrid nature of the Nintendo Switch, more people will come to, but we'll see how it goes in the future. Great sales for Monster Hunter Double Cross. I'm expecting to see Capcom come out with the new Monster Hunter, and of course Nintendo's probably really happy with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild as far as the sales go for that game in Japan, because that's usually not a normal big seller in Japan, and it's already outpacing Skyward Sword by a good amount. So this game should at least minimum sell 500,000 units in Japan when it's all said and done, but I think it's going to be much higher than that. Alright, and moving on to the next story here. Capcom is working on a big Monster Hunter Stories update. So Monster Hunter Stories will be getting a free major update this summer, Capcom has announced. It's planned for this summer in Japan. The update includes the following: 1 new Automon, a bunch of them there. Number 2, character can now change appearance, eyes, mouth, hair, makeup, and gender mid-game at the player's house. New character customization parts will be added that allow the player to dress like the original writers in the Ride-On anime with all the different characters there. And number 3, most of the DLC exclusive Automon will be able to be obtained from Monster Nest after passing through the ending, including all of the characters that you can see right there. Now, the exception applies to the collaboration with Automon, which will remain obtainable only through DLC. Monster Hunter Stories is coming to the West this fall, and there's a good chance that this update will be included in the final version for Monster Hunter Stories in the West. And I was actually really excited and interested in this game a while back, but at this point, not so sure. There's going to be a lot of games coming out this fall. I'm just not sure if this is going to be one of the games that I pick up, maybe when it's on discount. But if there was a Switch version, I'd probably be all over it. But the fact that there's just so many other games and there's going to be a lot of stuff to play on Switch, I doubt I'm really going to pick this one up, but it does look really cool. The graphics are nice and vibrant, and I like the fact that they're updating it in order to make a better experience for the users out there in Japan, and probably for us at launch as well. Are you guys excited for Monster Hunter Stories? Let me know in the comment section below. And moving on to the next article here, we do have some new details on Ever Oasis, the Nintendo 3DS exclusive coming from Nintendo. This week, Ever Oasis director and producer put up a new blog post on Nintendo's website. Various characters were introduced, and we also have new screenshots and art. Now, I'm going to go over some of the stuff with the protagonist, and if you want the full story, make sure you check out the link in the description below. So here's the description on the protagonist. Ever Oasis is a story about important partners supporting each other. So the developers do not want characters that can do everything by themselves. While the protagonist has a special power to blow powerful wind, his attack may be ineffective on some enemies. there are many more gimmicks that require cooperation with partners. The active skills for battles that are learned when characters level up are also more geared towards support skills that strengthen partners rather than offensive skills. The protagonist is from the seaman race, and the idea came from plants. The desert has no water, which makes it a harsh environment for plants. However, the developer is impressed that a seed would still grow to plant blooming flowers and giving smiles. When he thought to personify those plants, the seedmen were both born. When creating the protagonist, Hethu, players can also set the gender, eye color, and skin color. They also have more stuff on Esna the water spirit and just a bunch of other information there. So if you want to check out all that, definitely see it in the link in the description below. This game, I'm kind of excited for it, but at the same time, once again, it's on the 3DS. Don't really play my 3DS too much, and I'm really looking forward to Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia. That'll probably be the only game that I have in my 3DS. I haven't played it in so long since the Switch came out. It just doesn't seem like I want to go back to 3DS. Although I do think that the 3DS has such a great library and staple of games. It's perfect if you haven't got one at this point. I think 3DS is going to be ideal. Like when the 2DS launches, you don't need the 3D in a lot of games, so you can get that and all the library of DS and 3DS games for $150. This game, Ever Oasis, is looking really good based on some of the stuff. I just don't feel like going back to 3DS too much, but I know a lot of you guys are excited about this game too. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about Ever Oasis on the Nintendo 3DS. Alright, and moving on to the next article here. Nintendo shipped Nintendo Switch units via aircraft in March in order to quickly replenish stock. So the Wall Street Journal is reporting that Nintendo used aircraft to ship Nintendo Switch consoles to North America and Europe in March in order to replenish stock in stores as quickly as possible, according to a company spokesman. This is really noteworthy because shipping units this way is a lot more expensive than the usual method of sea freight, which Nintendo has gone back to since April. According to Ace Research Institute analyst Hideki Yatsuda, air freight could add a cost of about 5,000 yen per unit. Still, it seems like Nintendo was willing to take the hit in profits in order to ship out as many Nintendo Switch systems as possible. In this recent financial results meeting, the company revealed that 2.74 million Nintendo Switches were sold in March. So it sounds like the number could have been a lot lower if they didn't do this, and I think they actually sped up production as much as they could in order to ship out more consoles. But I do feel that this type of moves that Nintendo's doing, in addition to what they even said, saying like, hey, our profits are going to be down because we're going to be doing different things, and I think this is the type of stuff that they're talking about. And they even said marketing. They're going to spend more on marketing, so their profits might not be as high as they could be, but it's important to get the install base, and that is the most important thing. Profits, yes. Don't do things that are going to negatively affect your profits so much to where investors are going to have issues or you're going to have problems. But if you have to ship those extra units in certain ways in order to meet some demand, if you have to get more units out there for big games like Mario Kart, and if you have to spend more on marketing in order to get the name out there and make sure your name stays there, then do it. Because obviously that's what's working. And that is what is working right at this point for the Nintendo Switch. They're having good big games come out, smaller games in between that the fans seem to be happy with. They've got a lot more content coming, but Splatoon and ARMS, we have Street Fighter, Minecraft, Disgaea 5, there's a lot more content, a lot of games out there, and of course indie titles coming. Summer is big for Nintendo with those two games like I mentioned with Splatoon and ARMS. Plus you have stuff like Steam World Dig. You have some smaller titles that are coming then as well. Plus some unannounced games that I've talked about a little bit on this channel too that are looking to be a summer release as well. So it's going to be really exciting to see what Nintendo does going from here. And I love to hear stuff like this, that they're really taking the precedence to ship more units, because once again it destroys that whole theory that Nintendo is somehow trying to restrict supply when they're going above and beyond that in order to get more units out there. Alright, and moving on to the last article here. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe debuts #1 on the UK charts, and this is the first Nintendo game to do so since 2011. According to the charts here, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe debuts at #1 in the UK. That is the first Nintendo box retail game to do so since 2011, which was a record held by Pokemon White, the first Mario game to reach #1 since Mario Kart on the Wii. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild returned to the top 5 with a 68% increase in sales week on week. So as Nintendo got more units out there in the UK, therefore sales rose. It makes sense, doesn't it? Well, I do think one thing about this is that UK for Nintendo is traditionally a pretty weak market when it comes to certain things. PS4, Xbox One do a lot better there. I just don't think Nintendo shipped as many units in order to satisfy even the demand that was there. Obviously, Obviously, there wasn't as much as you would see for other consoles, but I just think Nintendo made sure to ship more units out to other places like France. Overall, good news, I guess, right? Obviously, Nintendo never does well in the UK. I don't report on the charts too much just because they never really give us any numbers or any indication of numbers. They kind of just give us just vague lists like this, and they use a bunch of different games, so usually I don't mention anything. We did get more than the vague just positioning on a chart. We got 68% increase sales week on week. Number one, we got some history backed into there, so I thought it would be good to report on it. But anyway, what do you guys think about these numbers here and about the feat that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has had? It would be interesting to hear what you guys have to say on the matter. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you ninja for the next video. Peace.